seen with students. We have just over 7,000 students, and 35 have tested positive for COVID. The current number of staff quarantined right now is 27, which does, as that number increases, pose somewhat of a hardship as it is difficult to secure substitutes. Remember, we have about 1,000 employees in Seguin ISD. The current number of positive staff COVID cases right now stands at 8, and the total number of positive staff COVID cases since September 1 is 30. And keep in mind, we have 1,000 employees. I really do believe that schools are probably the safest place for students. It's a controlled environment. Our students are doing an exceptional job of following protocols, wearing masks, washing hands, using sanitizer. Our teachers are doing an amazing job in the classroom, reinforcing those protocols as well. But what could be the challenge in the coming days, if we see what they're predicting come to fruition, or more cases with staff, possibly more cases with students, I truly believe happening as a result of behaviors outside of school, then we start having conversations about how to best educate our students. What we're not seeing is community spread happening in our schools. So I believe that is evidence that the measures that we're taking are working. We're not seeing the positivity rates increase, being spread in our classrooms, on our playgrounds. And again, I really do believe that is a result of the excellent work that our staff is doing. And I just commend our staff and our students and parents, you for reinforcing. But the cases that we are seeing are a result of behaviors that are happening where it's not controlled. What we are going to make every effort to do is ensure that we have our schools open so long as we possibly can. Our kids are safest with us. Our kids receive the best education in our classrooms with our amazing teachers, and we want to make sure that we don't take that away. We didn't have that option back in the spring, and we are trying to compensate and close the gaps. And it's just essential that our kids are with us safely in our classrooms. We will look at very creative options prior to closing a school or closing the school district. We will look at sharing staff. We will look at utilizing staff here at central office to provide support before we consider closing. So long as we are able to provide subs and find people to fill in for subs, we are going to continue to educate our students here at school. Now, some of you parents may be thinking, I'm becoming a little concerned with the increase in cases in our community. You can still opt to change the mode of learning. Our kids are either virtual or face-to-face. For our elementary, that third 9 weeks period begins on January the 15th, and then again March 26th. And you can make the decision to change from remote to face-to-face or vice versa. And for our secondary, that time period for the decision is January 15th or February 26th. My hope would be that by April, we'll have been through the most challenging part of this, as we are beginning to hear that there will be vaccines available for millions by February, March. We'll see. But we have to continue to adhere to our protocols, follow those safety measures, not only at school, but out in the community, so that we can get through this together, so that we can get back to normal teaching and learning in Seguin ISD. So again, I do want to clear the air a little bit, because there have been some word out there that the district was going to talk about closing perhaps today through this virtual town hall. and that is not the case. As of right now, we will continue to educate students in our school buildings based on the data that we have, that we will continue to monitor day by day. Now, this is something that we just monitor day by day. I can't predict what Friday will bring or what Monday will bring, but if we start to see these trends become concerning as they were in July, then we come back together and we reevaluate and we make decisions that are best for the students and the staff in our school district to ensure that everyone is safe. Um, I'm thankful that we have been able to continue educating students until December. I pray every day that we can have our kids in our school buildings, and I'm just thankful that on December the 2nd, we had kids in our buildings today. And tomorrow, I'll be thankful on December the 3rd that we have kids in our building, and we just get closer to that end of this year. As far as technology, we have increased the amount of devices that are available to our students, and I'm just so thankful for the support that we've been able to receive from our Board of Trustees approving the dollars to be able to move to become a one-to-one device school district. Technology providers have not been able to keep up with the demand, however, and orders have been delayed, and that is the case all over the state. Chromebooks have been distributed to over 1,900 high school students as the first phase of the one-to-one technology plan across the district. 450 more Chromebooks will be delivered very soon to each middle school for classroom use, and middle school students will go one-to-one in the fall of 2021. So by next year, we'll be one-to-one at the middle schools and the high school. iPads and MacBooks are being transferred to elementary campuses to have a one-to-one ratio in all of our elementary classrooms. And the amazing thing to see is just the transformation of how we teach students in Seguin ISD during this pandemic, utilizing technology in such innovative ways. I think there's a silver lining to all of this. Education is being transformed right now. And when we do come back to normal, we're going to have all of these tools and resources to be able to better meet the needs of our students in such innovative and dynamic ways. And it's just been amazing to see how our teachers have risen to the occasion and really utilized this technology in such amazing ways. As we continue to see the cases increase in our community and the inability to social distance in our schools, as we have been at about 75% or so capacity with most of our students in our school buildings, and still yet doing a great job as far as minimizing the exposure. I want to encourage parents, because of closed spaces in our buses, if you can, if you possibly can, to please consider uh, transporting your children to and from school to reduce the number of students who are in a bus sitting very close together. We unfortunately we can't just buy additional buses and hire additional bus drivers to have additional routes to minimize the number of students who are on a bus. But one thing that you can do on the days that you can, if possible, is to consider transporting your children to and from school. As a school district that serves 70% students who come from poverty, in a school district that has really struggled academically for many years, we talked about last year as a leadership team the possibility of an intercession calendar, um, just exploring it, having conversation, how that could look. And then COVID occurred and we closed in March and had to switch to remote learning overnight. And it wasn't a very robust platform because we were not prepared like we are today. And so when you consider some of the gaps that existed in Seguin ISD and the disparities, those have been compounded as a result of this pandemic. And when we had conversations a year ago, the traditional calendar is something that is possibly not working for the population that we serve. Our campuses do an amazing job of trying to build in additional time during the school day to provide reteaching and intervention to students, but it's limited, and there's only so much you can do during a school day. And you certainly want to avoid extending the school day. And in any research that you read, you're going to likely find that you need to capture students during the school day versus after. And once the pandemic hit us and we started learning more about the COVID slide that was going to occur, because many students were not learning in engaging, enriching classrooms um, during that period of months. Um, and then we still have some students who are remote. The concern is that some of these disparities are going to become even bigger. In fact, I really do believe it's going to take several years to recover. And so I believe that there's a need to really look at an innovative way to structure our calendar so that we can have that time to work with students who may be struggling. And so one of the things that we are putting out there is a thought exchange. Please remember that this is not a survey. This is a thought exchange where you share your thoughts and we gather that data. You're able to rate other thoughts. We are looking at the possibility of moving to an intersession calendar that will build in additional days for students who need the additional support. For the students who do not need the additional support, it would be a day off for. Now, for teachers and those of you who are on, we don't add additional days to your calendar. The calendar for teachers is still 187 days. That doesn't change. We still have the holidays such as Thanksgiving, spring break, Good Friday, Christmas. That doesn't change, but we build in additional chunks of time which provide us the opportunity to reteach kids, to get them caught up to their peers who are where they need to be. And what we have provided are some sample calendars, but I do encourage you not to get too attached to these, because the calendar would be our own. The intersession timeframes would be what is needed for Seguin ISD to meet the needs of our community. We may not need 4 intersession weeks like you may see on another calendar. We may be looking at only 2. We may not say we want a week. We may want 2 days scattered more frequently during the school year. And for teachers who are on here, you would not be forced to work the intersession. That would be on a voluntary basis for extra pay. And we would require students to come in who need to be caught up and need to be retaught so that we can narrow the gaps during the school year. And by the time our students take the end of year assessments, whether local or state level, they are prepared and where they should be to take those assessments. So this is an opportunity for you to provide thoughts. You'll have an opportunity to look at Garland ISD, Socorro, London, and Spring ISD and see how they lay out their calendars. Our students would and staff would still have a summer. We would go into likely June, but it would also provide for staff and students additional breaks during the school year. But most importantly, give us that time that we cannot build in our school day to bring kids in to work in small group settings, to give them an opportunity to be successful, because historically Seguin ISD has struggled. And we were poised in the spring to become a B school district. Our high school was going to move from a C to a B, and the high school carries a lot of weight. Kudos to the high school for the hard work that they've done. Our elementaries were poised to move letter grades. Our middle schools poised to get out of their F status, and Seguin ISD become a B district based on all of the data that we had with our universal screeners and our local assessments. And then everything came to a standstill. And the most growth that happens after spring break, particularly for your elementary students. And so now we have a lot of ground to cover because we lost that important time, and our teachers are working hard to capture. So please, I do encourage you to participate in the thought exchange, share your thoughts, give us some feedback, especially for staff. Please share your feedback, parents, and take time to look at those calendars. We'll have this thought exchange open until December 11th. We'll hold another virtual town hall to go through some of those thoughts, and I'll have an opportunity to share more information, and I do look forward to doing that. The next item I wanted to discuss was COVID-related one-time pay for our employees. The week before Thanksgiving, I had an opportunity to spend the week really walking in the shoes of different employees in the school district, and I had the opportunity to work as a teacher, a custodian, a bus monitor, child nutrition, and I hear about the additional demands because of COVID, but to be able to experience the additional demands that have been placed on our employees was really eye-opening to me, because everyone in this school district is taking on more. We're not adding people, we're not adding staff, we've not increased salary because of so many unknowns to the Texas economy in this next legislative session. We want to avoid having a recurring cost, to avoid having to cut positions should schools not be funded as they have been this year and last year. But hearing about the work that has happened, walking into classrooms and just seeing the magic take place and seeing some of the virtual learning and then having to experience it firsthand, I'm just beyond proud of the work that everyone is doing to keep our kids safe and to ensure that they're receiving a quality education. And I, along with my team, have had discussions about what can we do to reward our employees for these additional COVID related job duties. And so I am excited to announce that at the board meeting in December, the regular board meeting, I will be taking a recommendation to our board of trustees to approve a one-time pay for our employees. Um, I, I would love for it to be significantly more, but I believe that this is fair and something that is still fiscally responsible for our school district. We are looking at a one-time payment in December for those employees who were employed prior to October 1st and who will be returning. You got to return in January. That will be 1.5% for all non-teaching professionals based on the midpoint average, and 2% for all other employees based on the midpoint average, are for teachers based on the teacher average. But I've seen teachers buy their own materials, utilize their own technology, go above and beyond to teach their kids, to keep their classroom safe. And I I I just believe that this is something that is well deserved. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't say this is a 2% salary increase that will carry over. I think that right now that's not something that we can do with this next legislative session that's about to take place, and the possibility that funding for education could be decreased because of the hit to the Texas economy. So educators, parents, please stay informed, advocate for the continuance of public school funding at the levels, if not more than what it's been the last 2 years. But I, I am looking forward to attaining approval to be able to do that for our employees this year. And please stay tuned for further details that will come out about this. I believe that our parents and community members would agree that this is certainly well deserved. I think many of our parents have had the opportunity to have to teach their kids at home and really learn firsthand what it means to be a teacher. But again, as we get to Christmas and New Year's, I believe that this would be timely and much needed to compensate for all of the work that our staff has done this semester and will continue to do next semester. This does conclude uh, the virtual town hall for today. We are looking at planning a follow-up town hall to discuss obviously COVID updates, but also information on the intersession calendar. Of course, if we start seeing the trends change significantly in the coming days, we'll definitely come on to share an update. We're going to keep you informed. I know that everyone is concerned about the safety of and well-being of one another, and we are going to continue to be in communication. I am thankful for the 300 participants who came on and for those who are going to tune in later for your engagement. And just parents, students, and staff, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I am just so blessed to be your superintendent during these very challenging times. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email email us. We'll make sure to get back to you in a timely fashion. Thank you so much. And before I close, it is a great day to be a Matador. Thank you all.